Philadelphia at Pittsburgh, Sunday NFL. This almost feels like wrestling. We got the guy from Pittsburgh, we got the guy from Philly, but I'm giving the pick.
And you're a big Pittsburgh fan.
I tell you, I follow very closely. I grew up an hour out of Pittsburgh. I like the dog here. I think this line it's very surprising. I think 3 I can see. I'm not even sure if 2.75 shouldn't be the number, but I tell you right now, over a field goal, this Pittsburgh team scared. As a fan, I'm scared of this team. Now let's get a caveat right off the go. Is Troy's back at safety? Is the speculation right now as we're taping on Tuesday, and Harrison is back, but Harrison hasn't practiced a whole practice even from the beginning of training camp. So the question is, if Harrison comes back and can truly put some pressure on, and now you got Woodley and Harrison, and Troy's out there doing his thing, I would, at that point, if you guarantee me that
they're 100%.
Yeah, and Harrison, we have no idea what even 100% is for him at this point. He hasn't played for a year, but if they are where they were last year, okay, I'm not taking Philly. But I think there's at least a 50% chance they're not. So to me, if I think of it like this, if 50% of the time that they are back, it's probably going to be a 50-50 at that point. But if they're not back, I think there's huge value on, when I say back, I mean back.
Right.
I think there's huge value on the Eagles. So half the time I'm getting huge value on the Eagles, half the time I'm coin flipping. What do you think?
Well, when you say back, I mean, are we ever going to see Troy Polamalu back? I don't know, because right now he did so many things for that defense. One formation, he might be up on the line of scrimmage. The other time, he's back protecting the deep pass. Will that ever be back? I mean, I don't know. He's taken a lot of hits over the years. That has to take its toll.
So let me ask you, because I've been hearing this from Pittsburgh fans for a while, where would, let's say Troy at his peak is 100. What was he at the end of last year?
Well, I'd have to think back of last year, but I'd say, I can't remember exactly, but probably like in the 80s, something like that. But here's the bigger problem with Pittsburgh. They have been drafting kind of like these clones that fill in at linebacker, going all the way back to like the Greg Lloyd days. They're really a very similar type player. Last couple of draft picks have not worked out quite as well as they liked. Worldis, I think I'm pronouncing.
Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pronouncing his name wrong. And Timmons. Neither one of those guys. I don't think.
Timmons just signed a $50 million contract.
Well, I don't care what he signed. I'm not his banker. I'm a handicapper, and I don't think he's. Pittsburgh
and the sharpest front office in the league probably thought he was. No, I agree.
Well, they drafted that kid out of Ohio State too. That really has not been.
Well, but there's always uncertainty with the draft, so it's hard to call.
I'm giving you one man's humble opinion. I don't think he's been a good linebacker. What the Steelers need.
No, I tell you this. I do agree that if you look at their drafts recently, I'm optimistic about Hayward, but we haven't seen it yet, and we're moving towards the middle of his second season. And I look at Ziggy Hood, as some call him a Vanderhood, and I look at him and think he's a serviceable player. He's not a first-round pick. I mean, we really don't have, as Coach Tomlin says, high or splash players, any of the new guys, except on offense. But even so, we're still not able to outscore. We weren't able to outscore Oakland. What's your take on the game?
This game's simple. I mean, the only advantage Pittsburgh has in this game is where it's being played. Philly's the better offense. Philly's the better defense.
So we're just looking at the yards per play or total yards or what?
No, the only reason this team is 30th in scoring.
I can't believe you think they're the better offense. You think Philly has a better offense than
Pittsburgh? The Steelers? Yeah. It's not even close. You got Redmond back there as your running back.
By the way, Richard Mendenhall might be back this week.
Does it matter, Redmond and Mendenhall?
I don't think it does. I think Mendenhall's right there.
To McCoy, that's like day and night. And then you got Macklin and Jackson, and you got against what?
What's this, fantasy? This is like you got your thing where you're kicking your.
No, but you still look at the quarterback ratings. It's not close. Roethlisberger's far ahead of Vic.
The only thing that because of the turnovers, that's the only difference. The Eagles are 30th in scoring because every time they've gotten in the red zone, they turn the ball over, and when the ball hits the ground on a fumble, it's random, 50-50. It hasn't been for the Eagles. Interceptions has been off people's hands. It's not like he's throwing it to the wrong guy like we saw Romo do on Monday night.
The host is talking.
Go ahead.
See this earpiece?
I'm telling you, these are way off here as far as Pittsburgh being the better team.
I'm not sure if they're the better team. I'm pretty sure they have the better offense.
No.
But I guess let's make a point that I agree with VR, is when it comes to turnovers, fumbles are pretty random, and interceptions not so much. But clearly Vic's turning the ball over.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying if you see, that's why the yardage matters, to see can this team move the ball. And they're 7th in rushing, 10th in passing. So obviously they're able to get yardage. They're able to move the ball. But the turnovers has stopped them from scoring. And then you look at them on defense, they 12th in points allowed. And they let up almost nothing compared to what the Steelers let up. And the only reason they're 12th in points allowed instead of top 5 is because they've given so many teams short field. But they're not giving up any yardage. That's what tells me their defense is even better. I got the better defense.
Show your Eagles tattoo right now.
I hate the Eagles. I've hated the Eagles. But I thought this year there's so much value. And the fact that this team's 3-1 and they haven't even played well tells me that mark this video down. At the end of the year, I'm telling you, Eagles will be one of the 3 best teams in football.
Closing thoughts.
Here's the question I would have, and I'm hitting on a lot of VR's points. I really don't know what to make of the Eagles, because when I watch them, yeah, the yardage and all that other stuff like VR's saying, but why enter all those random situations into a game when you don't have to? And I think Vic drops the ball an awful lot.
0 turnovers against the Giants.
Okay, it's a good point. So I don't know if they're going to be a horrible team by the end of the season, or
it doesn't matter right now, though.
Or take the fact that they're 3-1.
They're going to represent the NFC
and figure to go on from here and have a very, very good season.
They're going to represent the NFC.
All right, guys, we've talked it through. Let's make it official. Okay, I'm taking the underdog Philadelphia here. It's not because I think they're the better team so much as I think that in a certain situation it's going to be a coin flip, but about half the time I think the Eagles have a big advantage getting over a field goal. That's my free pick for the week.
Dude, when the boss, a Pittsburgh fan, tells you he likes the other side, you got to take it seriously.
He was so passionate, I thought it was his pick.
This is no lie, though, is last 2 years, I'm like 75% of these Steeler games.
He is. That's why.
And I go against him as much as I'm on.
Isn't it for just because everybody saw the Giants almost beat them if they make that field goal?
You've had your say. You've had your say. We're going to be back with more VR, if you can believe it, and he's going to really take. He's been kind of holding it back.
I got a free pick. Best bet coming.
You got your best bet coming up. He's going to unleash it. You can get all the videos at pregame.tv.